Hello audience, welcome back to this video, and today we are going to talk about the 8 biases in this particular one video with really great examples and practical implications. So guys, stay tight until this video ends, okay? And the more important part is that you have to watch this video in 1.5x or 2x speed, okay? You can watch this video in this particular speed. We are talking about group belief biases, how our decision changes based on the group beliefs, okay? So let's move on to the understanding, right? Like group belief biases are shared cognitive distortion affecting perceptions in tech design and UX. This presentation covers four key biases and their implications on team dynamics and user experiences. Yes, these are four here, and there is another one I have. So first one is pluralistic ignorance. Second is belief in just world. Trust signals bias and mere exposure effect. These four biases we are going to learn here, okay, in this presentation, and there is also another one. So by the end you will see how group dynamics shape product decision, user trust, and brand loyalty. So let's move on to the pluralistic ignorance, the silent conformity. This is the second name, right? So private disagreement leads to silent conformity in groups. What does that mean? Guys, when everyone privately disagree, okay, just understand what I'm saying. When everyone privately disagrees with something, okay, but act as if they agree because they think others support it, okay? So what does that mean and how it impact? For example, like in a simple word, I think it's bad but no one else seems to mind, so I will stay quiet, right? We tend to not say something which is off. For example, you will understand with example. A confusing feature stays in the app because no one on the team speaks up. Everyone assumes others will like it, okay? No one in that team is talking about that bad feature. Why? Because everyone thinks that everyone is liking that bad feature. That's why no one is talking about that bad feature. So let's not talk about it, and that bad feature stays long in that particular app, right? A classroom does not ask questions because each student think they are the only one confused. Don't you think this is the relatable example? Students assume others understand the material, but no one understand it. No one understand. Most of the times, only 1% of guys understand the topic, and other 98% do not understand those topics, and they learn from tuition, or they do not even care what they are learning. That's the thing. So they have questions, but they are not going to ask about that particular topic. So silence isn't agreement, it is sometime fear, right? If you are silent, that also mean you are feared. Not feared, but you are in fear, right? Analysis of pluralistic ignorance. Why it matters? Bad ideas survive because no one challenges them. When team members fear speaking up, poor decisions remain unchallenged. This leads to features or workflows that continue to cause confusion and frustration for both users and team. Confusing user flows. In user experience design, workflows may become unnecessarily complicated as individuals avoid confronting their discomfort, resulting in frustrating experience for users who struggle to navigate poorly designed systems. The teams features workflows and culture rot quietly because of this thing. In UX, confusing flows stay untouched because no one objected. In life, we follow norms. We follow norms. We didn't believe it. We follow the norms. We didn't even believe it. Right? Belief in a just world bias. It is something different. The assumption that people get what they deserve. People get what they deserve, either good or bad. This is an assumption. Belief in just world bias just means a justice kind of mindset, right? Assuming struggle implies personal fault and responsibility. Just world, good or bad. If they are struggling, it must be their fault. It must be their fault in just world. In just world means you are in struggle, you are in pain, and you are in struggle in your and you are in pain because you have a fault, right? You did something bad, that's why you are struggling this problem, right? Like there is a karma, right? The karma mindset. This is what the bias is. This is what the bias is, guys. Real world examples of just world bias. This is a big bullshit. This is a big bullshit. I want to say that people does not think as things as it is. People think based on based on the cultural belief, based on what they heard from long their whole life, like, oh, karma, right? Yes, karma may exist. Karma may exist, but it is not going to apply on everything. Okay, karma will affect, but it is not going to affect in every single thing. Sometime the work get dissolved and the effect also get dissolved, right? This also happen in this world. It's not always that, oh, energy creates then energy destroyed. It's not always work like that, guys. Understand this. Sometimes things can go worse, and sometimes things can go even more worse. They are not going to be get better, they are going to get worse, right? People have this kind of belief that, oh, nothing can go more worse, but it can go worse if you are not going to care about that thing. Let's say, for example, you have health problem, you get a fever, you do not notice it, but then that fever goes down and down and down. First time it was 102 degree, then 104 degree. This time you are near to death. That's it, done. Right? So this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. You have to care for it. Think, think in terms of this as it is. Look the world as it is, not based on your beliefs. What are the examples? What are the examples? Designers blame users for not reading the user manual, right? Not reading the user manual instead of fixing the UX, right? Instead of fixing the UX, they think that, oh, it's user's fault. A team ignores poor onboarding, saying users should figure it out. We confuse fairness with reality. We confuse fairness with the reality. So, white matters. White matters. Blaming bad leads. It blocks empathy and improvement. Blaming low conversions on bad leads instead of unclear messaging. Teams often dismiss poor conversion rates by attributing them to bad leads, overlooking necessary adjustment in messaging or targeting strategies that could improve outcomes. Blaming users, that I was talking about it, right? We justify inequality by assuming people earn their outcomes, right? Right? This is the belief. This is real belief. So let's move on to trust signal bias. Users form trust based on visual design cues. This is a particular example. Secure, 100% secure. Visual cues like badges, icon, or layout create instant trust. Instant trust, right? or distrust regardless of actual credibility. It looks legit, so I trust it. That's the kind of wording we can say. It looks legit, so I trust it. Example is, users trust a site with an HTTPS lock verified badge and clean layout even if it's new. Okay, people are going to like that particular website which looks good and also have HTTPS, right? Next example, that a sketchy looking form loses trust even if it's secure, right? Poor design leads to instant loss of trust, right? So the analysis, guys, the analysis, design equal trust even before logic kicks in, right? So design, good design equals trust is simple. It's simple concept, right? So first impression shape behavior, right? This is important. In marketing, visual trust cues boost conversions. In UX point of view, clean design, badges and icons build credibility. In life, we trust polished over proven. Visual trust cues. That's the thing I was talking about. So next, move on to mere exposure effect. Mere exposure effect, familiarity. Repeated exposure increases comfort and preference among users. What does that mean? Repetition increases liking. Repetition increases liking. The more we see something, the more we tend to like it, even without logic. Even without logic, the more we see something, I was making an eye, right? The more we see something, the more we trust on that particular thing, right? Our logic goes like that. So like, I have seen this before, it feels familiar, I like it. That's a kind of effect. So the example is, users feel more comfortable with apps that repeat brand colors, icons and tone across screens. Ton, I have written ton. Okay, great. So users feel more comfortable with the apps which have consistency, right? In simple word, we can say consistency, right? The apps which are consistent, like this is the reason why people like Apple, because they have the consistent design, right? They look good and they have a flow, proper storytelling. A jingle or logo feels trustworthy just because it's everywhere, right? Repeated jingles create a sense of trust. That's why so many brands and advertisement, they give some kind of jingles, right? Analysis of mere exposure effect. Consistent branding. Consistent branding creates a familiar environment that enhances user trust and comfort, leading to increased conversions as users feel more confident in their choices. Why it matters, guys? Because repetition build trust and recall. Consistent branding increase conversions, this is true, and repeated pattern reduces friction. We prefer what we have seen even if it's an average thing. Okay, repeated pattern, like the software which is complicated for you for the first time, but the more you get the exposure in the second day, in the third day, you are going to get comfortable with that particular software, right? That's the thing. So let's move on to practical implication based on perspective level. You have to ask questions. In this particular practice, we just ask questions, right? So questions like, am I staying silent? Am I staying silent just because no one is talking about, right? Just because no one else spoke up, right? Ask this question. Is there any situation came to you where you were silent? Am I blaming users instead of fixing? Am I blaming, right? Ask yourself, instead of fixing my problem, am I blaming myself or blaming others? Right? Trust signal, am I trusting this because of how it looks? Are you trusting that particular product because of looks, or what it do, or what it does? Right? Or what it does, right? Based on the fact, based on the working, based on the features, right? That's the thing. Ask yourself, do I like this because it's good or just familiar? That's the kind of questions you needed. So guys, write this down, write these things, right, in your notebook, and figure out some examples in your real life where you made these choices. So here we ending the first part, right? Thank you. Understanding biases improves design outcomes. So let's move on to the next stage of our particular video. So we are going to talk about the belief and reasoning biases. We are just in the ending zone of the biases. Okay. So here we are talking about, the things where we look for confirmation, we dismiss what challenges us, we double down when corrected, and we accept conclusions. Why this happened, by the end you will see how belief hijacks logic, and how to design, lead, and think with clarity. That's the thing, guys. Let's learn the first point, which is confirmation bias. Right? Understanding how mind work, understanding how mind work, how mind filters information to confirm beliefs. Confirmation bias refers to the tendency of individuals to seek, interpret, and remember information that confirms their existing beliefs while disregarding contradictory evidence. Guys, this is the tendency to seek, tendency to interpret, tendency to remember information, right? What information? Which that confirms our existing belief, right? This cognitive shortcut can lead to distorted thinking and narrow perspective, short perspective. Okay, confirmation bias can lead to that particular conclusion. In simple words, I believe this, so I will only look for proof that I am right. Okay, I am right. This is a confirmation bias, where you are very much confident about your own data, what you have already. Confirmation bias. A product team cherry picks positive metrics to justify a feature they love, right? A product team cherry picks positive metrics to justify a feature they love, ignoring negative feedback. Even there is a negative feedback exists, they are not going to work on that, right? A person who believes in astrology only remember only remembers the time it worked and forgets the misses, right? Astrology beliefs remember only successful prediction, while ignoring failures, right? The time when that astrology failed, they are not going to remember that, they are going to focus on when it was successful. News consumption, select sources confirming existing views over others. Guys, social media engages with like-minded individuals and content only. Guys, the analysis will, the white matters, blocks learning, distorts data, and fuels echo chamber. Guys, in marketing, teams only highlight testimonials that support their narrative, right? Block learning, what I talk about the block learning, it limits exposure to new idea, reinforce existing assumptions, reduce critical thinking, hinders personal growth. It also distorts data, skew interpretation of results, promotes echo chamber, dismisses contradictory evidence, and misleads decision making process. That's the thing, guys. And there is an opposite one, disconfirmation bias. Is it a opposite one? The tendency to over scrutinize opposing evidence while accepting supporting evidence with little resistance. This is very common, this is also very common belief we have. Understanding how we scrutinize opposing evidence while accepting supporting evidence, right? Like for example, we can say that, if it challenges me, I will tear it apart. If it agrees with me, I will accept it instantly. Okay, we agree what we agree, and we reject what we do not agree. That's the thing, right? So this bias can lead to poor decision making, as we may reject valuable insights simply because they challenge our view, our point of view. It's crucial for professionals to recognize these bias to foster critical thinking and growth. So, example, a team dismisses negative survey results as outliers but celebrates positive ones as proof. Okay, this is what the example is. A user ignores critical reviews for their favorite app, calling them biased. Okay, the critical the critic the critic, we are going to, ignore that harsh app critic as biased, right? So that's what the thing is. Team dynamics, colleagues reject opposing ideas without discussion. Colleagues often reject opposing ideas without discussion, without even discussing about it. Customers insights, clients overlook negative comments over from peers. Guys, disconfirmation bias, why it matters? Because it creates unfair standards and blocks growth. It it creates unfair standards and block growth. In marketing term, teams reject competitors' success stories as exception, right? In UX, feedback that challenges the design is dismissed as edge case. In life, we reject criticism and cling to praises. We cling to praises, right? So it creates an unfair standard and block growth, similar to that previous one, guys. So next, move on to backfire effect. Understanding how counter evidence can strengthen existing beliefs. The backfire effect occurs when individuals encounter evidence that contradict their beliefs, causing them to cling even more strongly to their original stance. This phenomenon illustrates the psychological resistance to change, as correction is often perceived as a threat rather than an opportunity for growth and understanding. When being presented with counter evidence actually strengthens your original beliefs instead of weakening it. In simple words, you showed me I am wrong, now I believe it even more. you show me you show me I am wrong. Okay, you just show me I am wrong. You have this ego, right? The egoistic mind will think that, oh, show me that I am wrong, and now I believe it more. Now I am going to believe it more. Show me that show me that God does not exist. Okay, first of all, I'm not the one who is in the this battle, but I'm just giving you an example. Okay, just an example that someone could say that, oh, show me that God does not exist. Okay, and if you even show me, and even if my belief is wrong over God, then still I'm going to believe it more. Okay, this is also coming under this particular bias, right? So backfire effect, that's why it called backfire effects. The more we prove someone wrong, they are going to believe in it more, right? So example here, users reject helpful how to tips and stick to old habits, right? Because they feel attacked. That's why people sometimes don't look for the criticism, or they do not look for sometime help, right? Because of this thing. Flawed feature: teams defend poor choices despite criticism. That's the thing. Emotional reaction: corrections trigger defensiveness and resistance, right? That's the thing. Old habit: users stick to routine rather than adapt. That's we have already talked about in the memory biases. So guys, the analysis is that it makes it makes change harder, and even when evidence is clear, it makes changes harder, right? Challenges of change, resistance to new idea, emotional reaction to feedback, difficulty in accepting correction, defensive stance in discussion, implication for professionals, hinders effective learning, complicate user onboarding, limit design improvement, affect team collaboration. These kind of problem happen when backfire effect exist, guys. So in marketing, users resist onboarding if it feels like you are doing it wrong, right? In UX, tutorials fail when they challenge user pride. In life, we defend beliefs harder when they are challenged, right? So that's the thing, guys. These are the beliefs. Next is very short: belief bias. Belief bias: understanding the impact of belief on logical reasoning and decision making. In simple word, the tendency to accept conclusions that align with our beliefs, even if the logic is flawed. The logic is flawed. Okay. So, in simple word, we can say, I already believe in this, so the argument must be valid, right? There is an argument going on, and because I already believe in this, that's why the argument is valid, right? For example, expensive tools are better, right? Expensive tools are better, so team choose pricey software without comparing features. भाई घुसा ही देना भाई, पूरी गाड़ी घुसा दे यहाँ पे, पूरी गाड़ी घुसा रहा है साला, क्या यार ऐसे थड़ 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 आवाज करते हैं. Okay, so here the construction site, uh, people are making some home house. Great. So yeah, the background noise will be there, guys. Sorry for that background music, right? I don't have background music. Yeah, I can use the noise cancellation, but I don't know why this mic is not working for noise cancellation. I have a mic, right? Still, it is not working on that noise cancellation. So okay, so let's move on. Yeah, so we are talking about examples. Expensive tools are better, so teams choose pricey software without comparing features. Teams choose pricey software without comparing features. Relatable example 2: fast food. Fast food is unhealthy, so people reject any data showing improvements in nutrition, right? That's the thing, guys. Sometimes even your home based food can be unhealthy, but you will not think about it. You will think that, oh, fast food is dangerous. We judge logic by the conclusion, not the reasoning. That's the thing. So why it matters, guys? In team dynamics, groups often favor familiar solution uncritically. Value perception: price misleads team about true quality, because this belief bias affects in our life. Vulnerability to manipulation: we are vulnerable to manipulation. Poor decision making: ignoring vital evidence, justifying flawed logic, right? Pricing overrides value, branding influences choices, misleading narrative persist, and evaluation standards skews. This happen in the marketing realm, okay, in the business realm. So in marketing, pricing and branding override actual product value, right? Users reject good features if they clash with their assumption. In life, we accept flawed argument if they feel right. Okay, so practical advice, guys. Practical advice. To enhance decision making and design process, professionals must confront their biases directly. Asking reflective questions can facilitate greater awareness and promote critical thinking. By challenging our assumption and seeking diverse perspectives, we can foster an environment of innovation and informed choices in our work. That's the thing. So, guys, based on the implementation, you can ask questions, right? Ask questions like, am I only looking for proof? Am I only looking for proof of I am right? Right? Am I looking for proof to ensure I am right, or what is truth? Okay. Am I being unfair to opposing evidence? Am I being, you know, opposing to evidence, actual evidence? Am I reacting emotionally to correction? Am I reacting emotionally to correction, right? Don't be emotional in terms of correcting your own problems, your own mistakes. Am I judging the conclusion or the logic? I am judging the conclusion or logic. These are the questions you need to ask, right? And this is where we end this particular video. And yeah, here we are going to complete the whole biases in the, I think, in the next two videos, because I have two more parts. So we are going to talk about, I think, yeah, 8 biases and 8 biases. Yeah, so there are total more 8 biases exist, like I think 16. Yeah, so in total 16 biases maybe exist right now. Okay, so we are going to talk about it in the next video in very detailed format. Okay, and yeah, and this is how we will end the biases, and then we will move towards the great, very great series over critical thinking. Okay, over critical thinking and problem solving. So please follow this particular channel, keep attending all the videos, keep your attendance, because I am uploading videos every single day. Okay, daily upload. So keep it simple, build it bold. Thank you so much from the Devon Lab. Bye bye.